Welcome to Compass Training. I'm the guest expert. Lewis is going to introduce me properly. I'm going to share with you some incredible value today on how you can be more successful in your business.
Right. Well, hello everyone. This is Coach Lewis, otherwise known as Coach Carlos. We haven't figured that part out yet. But anyway, I coach people, so I guess I call myself a coach.
Right.
Anyway, I'm the CEO of Compass Trainings, and I wanted you guys to meet Mr. John Kurth. And we met through a friend of mine named Tony over at the Santa Ana Chamber.
Right.
And he told me all about you, and I'm like, okay, I got to meet this guy. So we met. You gave me some coaching, and I was really impressed because of your background. I got people that say they know something, and I kind of feel them out a little bit, and they think they know something because they read one or two books, right? And so anyway, but you're the real deal, man. You're old school, and I love talking to you. So here's John Kurth. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, John?
Sure. I'm John Kurth. I'm president of Syntactic Sales Scripting. It's my own firm. The subheadline is the syntax of success. The correct order and sequence something goes in is the syntax. I work with business owners, professionals, anybody who has to communicate to effectively get more people to say yes. The thing is, there's two different levels of language. There's the content level and the structural level of language. The person collects Beanie Babies or Ferraris. That's the content, the deep structures they like to collect. So I'm working with my clients. It's all about selling authentically. It's not a hard sell, it's a heart sell. But we have to make sure the structural level of language is in place so it works. A client of mine out of Beverly Hills, she's a makeup artist to movie stars. I don't wear makeup. And she's like, John, you sold me my own stuff. Yeah, because we focus on the structural level of the language. We put her content on it. 30 years in the industry, there's no way I could learn all that stuff. She's forgotten more than most people have. So we apply her content on my structure. That's why I get the results. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, I also, as you know, I have a little bit of a background in neuro-linguistic programming. And one of the things that I learned was, like, for example, with my kids, and I learned this once I got certified, and I went through my classes and whatnot, and I applied this with my kids, and, you know, they're running in the pool area, right? And I realized why not to tell them to stop running. You know, instead of saying stop running, you tell them the positive, which is walk in the pool area, and immediately they slow down. And so that's when I began applying this. You know, I tried applying it with my wife. She's a little smarter. But anyway, but yeah, absolutely. I think that NLP is really important. I think the structure of language is really important. Right. And that's why I really wanted to get to know you a little bit better. Let's go back in time a little bit. Okay. Because we actually were talking about Zig Ziglar, Tom Hopkins, Les Brown, and some of the folks that we've read up on, or whatever. We've seen them on stage and whatnot. And I've shared the stage with Les Brown 2 years ago in Las Vegas.
Are you kidding me?
It was one of the best experiences of my life.
Wow, that guy's greater than life, man. He's amazing. If you don't know him, you got to check out Les Brown. He's pretty amazing. These guys are super old school. These are the titans of personal development. They've been around for a long time.
But the thing is, they're been around so long and they're old school because these are timeless principles that work. And that's why it's great when you work with someone like Coach Carlos here, Coach Lewis. You're getting those principles to apply in your life. I focus on the power of language. Most people have forgotten the power of their language to interact. Now, this is beyond just selling. This is interacting with people you love and care about the most. I'll share with you a very powerful word. It's magical. It's yet. Yet means something has not been completed. Now, this I use with my daughter. My daughter, Rita, she's 11 now. Well, when she was younger, she's learning to ride a bicycle. And she said, Daddy, I don't know how to ride a bicycle. Now, let's deconstruct that. It's permanent. It's pervasive. She feels bad about herself just because of the language pattern.
That's right.
Add yet to it. Honey, Rita, use the word yet. Daddy, I don't know how to ride the bicycle yet.
And now that word, all of a sudden, you're right, it's a magical word. It completely shifts the absolutism for right now to now an open dialogue.
It's a process. Now, she is at cause. NLP is all about being at cause. If I say I can't ride the bicycle, it's permanent, it's pervasive, I may feel like I'm a bad person, nothing's ever going to change, but just add the word yet to it. Daddy, I don't know how to ride a bicycle yet.
I love it.
Now, the locus of control is on her. If it takes her 3 months or 3 years, doesn't matter. She will get there. And she's open to the process. Now, failure is feedback. Prior to that, failure is a judgment. Oh, I can't ride the bicycle. Failure is just feedback.
That's right. There's no such thing as a breakdown. There's just feedback, right? And
breakdowns lead to breakthroughs. That's a key distinction.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
We get it. That's why we're on the same page. We're like brothers. Like, have you been bugging my telephones? I mean, have you been following me around? How do we know?
We've just been reading the same books, I think, or something like that, right? All right, that's fantastic. Yeah, God, that's really powerful. The whole concept of using the word "yet." I've actually, this is the first time I heard this. One of the things that I teach at Compass is, people are going through their stuff, and one of the things we teach is that your history is no longer here.
Right.
Your history is in the past somewhere.
Right.
Right. And as a result of that, we have a tendency to bring our history with us as if our history is part of our present.
Right.
Right? And so one of the things we teach at Compass is up until now, this is what I used to do.
Right.
Right? And so what it does is that it allows for people to really redesign themselves even in the moment.
Right.
Up until now, I used to hate this, or up until now, I used to smoke, or up until now, I used to hate my wife or hate my husband, or be this kind of person up until now, right? And then the second part of that is moving forward.
Right.
Now it opens up possibilities.
Right.
Right. So I love that kind of stuff. I love that about language. And
the good thing is about up until now, it's a linguistic pattern interrupt. It stops you thinking. If you ever been to a Best Buy, you're looking at the giant screen TVs, and the person who asks you said, "How may I help you?" What do you say 9 times out of 10? Most people say, "I'm just looking," right?
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm good. Looking. Yeah, thank you.
Well, that's a pattern. Interrupt it. So script it a different way. So you're looking at the giant screen TV, and the person comes up to you and says, "Are you a new customer or a returning customer?" "Oh, I'm a new customer." Good information allows the salesperson to be even more effective. "I'm a returning customer." See how it keeps the language going. Up until now it interrupts that pattern. All the baggage, all the garbage is stopped now. And then you have that clean slate to move forward. Pattern interrupts also work very well when you're talking to people because oftentimes they aren't listening. The title of my book is, "What Are Your Words Wearing?" Huh?
Yeah.
What are your words wearing? Huh? Just as much as how you're dressed, your language has the same thing. If your doctor drops F-bombs, that's incongruent.
Yeah.
So what are your words wearing? Huh? It's a linguistic pattern that gets them to stop and think.
I love it. I actually use a pattern interrupt. I'm going to reach over behind you. I actually learned this with this other company that I was getting coaching from, and we actually use a pattern interrupt. Whenever I give my business card out, most people when they give their business card out, they just give it out to somebody, right?
Like you're a dealer.
They take it out. Here's a right, and the person who looks at it, they just look at the card, right?
Right.
But what I do, something that I actually learned, and I do this now all the time, and I teach this, is that when you're handing out the business card, I hand it out like this, and I go, and when he reaches for it, I'll say, "Oh, and by the way, on the back is what I'm about." And that creates a pattern interrupt. Right. Because most people, when they receive, go ahead and give me my card. Give me the card. Okay. So most people, when we receive it, they look at it and then they're kind of look at it and they put it away. But if I do the pattern interrupt, now it actually causes you to look at my business card twice.
Right.
Right. And secondly, I actually put information on the back of my card that helps people understand. Right. Hey, they're going to be able to remember me. So that's how I hand out my card.
And another thing for this, I've worked and lived in Asia. I speak Mandarin Chinese conversantly, not fluently. A year in Hong Kong, a year in mainland China, 5 years in Taiwan. That's where I met my wife. Business cards are presented like this.
Oh, interesting.
This is showing you're coming from a place of service. You're acknowledging with both hands.
And it should be received with both hands.
Yes, and when you receive it, you study it because hierarchy is very important. You can learn a lot from their business cards. So when you deliver it like this, you're showing a greater level of respect. And when they give you theirs, you need to do the same thing. The last thing you want to do, some people are, I'm just going to write notes on this. It's like you're graffitiing on their side of their business.
Wow. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I actually learned something similar with the Korean community. They actually hold their hand and they hand out whatever they hand. If you ever go to, like, for example, the dry cleaners where I go to, they're actually Korean. So I've learned to say hello.
Oh,
right?
good.
안녕하세요, right? Or 안녕하세요, right? I don't know if I'm saying it incorrectly. For those of you Koreans, I'm chopping up your language, forgive me. But when I say hello, and so I always notice that when they're giving me my change back, they're always doing it this way.
Right.
And so I learned to receive it in the same way too, just to be respectful for their culture. And they're just doing their best to be respectful as well.
And this is important about the expert modeling principle. He is modeling what they are doing. I don't speak Mandarin Chinese fluently. I'm conversantly. And when I was working and living in Asia, I made a lot of mistakes. But because I'm making an effort, you are given that much more latitude. That's why when you're focusing on the person's language, it's not just what they're saying. It's their tonality. It's their volume, their rate, their pitch. It is their physiology. There's what internal dialogue's going on. Mm-hmm. There are 7 different layers of communication. Part of the reason why I got so good at selling and scripting, when my wife and I came back from Taiwan, I was working for a total boiler room. Picture this in your mind.
Oh my goodness.
Cold calling 250 to 300 people a day just to get one qualified prospect.
Over the phone?
Over the phone.
Yeah.
These are accredited investors, net worth of $1 million plus. It was a one-call close. After 30 minutes, they cut us a check for $25,000 or more. I had 3 tools. My voice, my telephone, and my scripts. I got really good at scripting because when it's 4:55 in the afternoon, it's your 257 dial. You can't do it on enthusiasm. You can't do it on coffee. So I get my prospect, boom, I've got my script I'm running. It's me, and this is very old school. My sales manager's got the splitter phone, so he's listening in and coaching me, and I'm closing the business. The other salespeople have gone home from the day. So that's how I really discovered the power of language, because it was the ultimate laboratory.
I love it because I used to sell clinical laboratory services. And one of my favorite things to do was to cold call between 4:30 and 5 p.m. when all the offices are about ready to close. I knew several things. I knew that most sales representatives were on their way home because they didn't want to hit traffic.
Right.
I knew that the potential client was beat up and tired of saying yes and no and whatever, right?
Right.
And so their defenses are now down.
Right.
So here I am walking in, right? I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, right? And I walk in and I smile and I do my thing and I begin talking to them, and it was so much easier to actually talk to them at the end of the day.
Right.
Unusually enough, I know they were tired and you would think they're tired, they're just going to tell you to buzz off, and some do. But I actually closed my best deals between 4:30 and 5 p.m. in the evening, and that's when most sales reps would go home. This is to say that I understand that process of being able to have that script, automatic script, and I had what I called a pitch book back then, and that my pitch book, I would take people on a journey. I learned that from Combined Insurance because they have, if you remember Combined Insurance?
That type of system.
They'll become in stone. Yeah, they're just, script, and just controlling the conversation, controlling the dialogue, and again, controlling the close and the responses to those close, which I think was phenomenal.
Right.
I mean, before that, I thought I knew sales, but I learned a completely different level of sales or human interaction or human connection when I learned the process of responses.
Let me ask you a question, Louis. Name for me your favorite actor or actress.
Favorite act? I'd like to say, gosh, I have their image in my mind, but I can't think of it. Who's let's see, famous actor or actress? Angelina Jolie.
Okay, and is she pretty well compensated for what she does?
Yes, she's very well compensated.
And when you see her up on stage in the back of your mind, do you know she's using a script?
At the time, no. I mean,
has she become the script?
Yeah, well, she's become that person. She
exactly
personifies that person. Yeah.
That's what I talk about, the power of scripting. You have to become it. When you become it, it's part of you, and then it's your operating system to be more effective in your interactions.
I love it. One of the
I used though there was a leading language script. Leading language. This is how it works. When you say it as a salesperson,
you got me. You can't say you got me. Go ahead.
As leading language, if you say it as a salesperson, it's greeted with a certain level of resistance. But if the prospect says it, it's almost accepted without question. So if I said you got to get better at scripts because you'd be more effective, I was like, of course you're going to say that, John. You're a script coach. But taking him through that leading language script, name for me a favorite actor, actress. I elicited from him somebody he admires or respected. Is she pretty well compensated? Yes. About $20 million a year. When you see her on stage, in the back of your mind, you know she's using a script. It actually doesn't matter what Louis says. If he says yes or no, doesn't matter. Yes. Has she become the script? Great. Exactly. No. I know in the back of my mind she's using a script. Does that affect your enjoyment of the process?
No, it doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
This is a leading language script. I just took Louis, and I got a couple of yes responses out of it. This is how you layer it in. This is the power of your language. You've got the surface level of language, and you've got the deep structure.
So you're talking about open-ended question versus closed-end questions,
That's
right?
part of it, yes.
Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit more about the benefits of a closed-end question and also the benefits of an open-ended question?
All right. The important thing is, remember, selling is a process. You're guiding somebody to a solution. Now, this is for all the parents out there. You better get better at selling, Because if you don't get good at selling, your kids are going to listen to the drug dealer down the street. We are all in sales. We are all in selling. Let's talk about open-ended versus closed-ended. Remember, it's a dialogue. If I asked you, for example, how is business today? As a business owner, you could talk for hours and you wouldn't get the results. That's an open-ended. You have to guide them from open to close. A client of mine out of Alberta, Canada, her name of her business is Picture This Art and Framing Gallery. There's a framing side of it and a gallery side of it. Mm-hmm. This is a woman who owns both businesses. Mm-hmm. And the salespeople, someone was coming to the art gallery and saying, mm-hmm. I would like to buy some art. Mm-hmm. And the salesperson says, what type of art are you looking for? That's like going to the doctor's office and the doctor says, what do you think you have? You're going to run screaming out of there. So I share with them 7 powerful questions. So the person comes in and says, I would like to buy some art. The salesperson says, are you looking for a picture or a sculpture? Now we're closing it down. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Picture. Would you like a more traditional picture or something more abstract? Something more abstract. Would you like the abstract painting in brighter colors or more earthen tones? Brighter colors.
In some places, they call that the alternate close, right? This or that. Morning or afternoon,
alternative choice has its patterns here and it works. The thing is they don't know what they want. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you have to elicit from them what they're actually looking for. Most clients don't really know what they want. They think they know what they want, but they don't. Now, this isn't an ego trip or anything. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. When you bought a smartphone, Steve Jobs was like, he couldn't have asked, you want a smartphone? Nobody would have been able to figure it out.
That's right.
In fact, he redid it I'm dating myself, I've got the gray hairs. There was an Apple Newton that came out about 2 years after the Apple IIe. It was even before Macintosh really got big, the first ugly square Macs.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Well, what it was a iPhone.
Oh, no kidding.
It was more of a PDA, personal digital assistant, not public display of affection. That's also, I'm dating my own PDA on social. No, it's personal. I had to figure out what that was.
Yeah.
But the important thing is when you're dealing with your clients, you must pay attention to your language.
Wow.
It is one of the most powerful tools we have, period. End of story.
That's so true. That's so true. Goodness, I am learning so much. I think we have to go ahead and cut it short now. But thank you so much for coming out and visiting us here at Compass. And I really appreciate your time and your wisdom. If somebody out there would like to get a hold of you and reach you, what's the best way?
Well, one of the things I want to thank you as a reward for your listeners and reward for you having me on the program. Lewis probably talks about the universe rewards one thing and one thing only, those who take action. So I'm offering a free 30-minute telephone consultation. You can call me at 714-688-6443. That's 714-688-6443. Call me. We'll schedule a time for a free 30-minute telephone consultation so I can help you get better at business and your life with scripts. And at the end, I'll share with you how we can work together. But this is a way of rewarding Lewis, who offered me to come on to his program. This is how it's done. Learn from the masters. Learn from the masters. Thank you for having me on your program.
Thank you. I've learned a lot from you and with you. I'm looking forward to doing this again sometime soon. John Kurth, check him out. Number once again,
714-688-6443.
And until then, this is Coach Carlos coming to you from Compass Trainings. I love you. I will see you all in the training room.